You're watching Channel 18 MTN, the only television station right here in the high country. Brian Fisher back here in the studio with us, and I'm pleased to have Mr. Brett Bakken, the father of young Brady Bakken. Of course, everyone knows his story here in the high country, the 8th grader from Valley Cruces, battling stage 4 of lymphoma right now. And just an overwhelming amount of support that the high country and the folks here in the community has come out and shown Brady. And recently Brady's story has kind of went national, I guess you could say, with some big events that took place over this past weekend. And Brett, first of all, it's great to have you in here. Thank you so much for
Appreciate it.
coming in. And first off, for the folks that are watching and that are concerned and want to know, give us a little update about Brady, kind of where he's at right now in his process.
Well, Ryan, as you said, Brady was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma, and which means stage 4 means that they actually found cancer cells in his spinal fluid. So that's the highest number of chemo rounds they can give a kid at that age is 7.
Right.
So he has just finished his 7th round, and so that's the good news. Mm-hmm. Within a couple weeks, we'll be doing a number of different tests where they determine how effective the chemo has been. They'll do body scans. And based on the results of those tests, they'll determine kind of the next course of action. We hope and we pray that it's, going into a remission or a maintenance phase, because his body's been beat up pretty bad. Right. But we'll know more towards the end of this week and early next week.
Wonderful. So he's down in Winston right now?
Well, no, he's home now.
He's home right now.
He got to come home on Sunday, but he has probably since January when he was diagnosed spent about 120 days in the hospital, but he does get to come home in between the chemo rounds.
Right.
Each round lasts about a week, and then unfortunately, but commonly, is they have fevers and things between these rounds because their blood count goes down to 0, so they can't fight off any infection.
Right.
So Brady has probably, I think, between every round except one, has had to go back to the hospital for a visit because of his fevers.
Okay.
But, he's one of the only kids that they've told us that has been through this whole cycle on schedule,
right,
which is rare because it does beat up their little bodies.
Yeah. Well, it just tells you how strong-willed Brady is in fighting this whole process. I know it's been a tough road for him, but he's hung right in there, and he's got the thoughts and the prayers of a lot of folks, especially here in the high country, the viewers out there. A lot of support that has been shown, of course, wearing the Belief for Brady t-shirt, and you were telling me there's been a number of those t-shirts that have been made and passed out here in the community.
This thing started as we wanted to do it for his classmates, which, I have to tell you, the whole Valley Cruces community has been incredibly supportive, from the principal, Ms. Clark, to Diane Wilcox, who spearheaded the whole fundraiser, his teacher, Mr. King, all of them. If I start mentioning names, I'm going to forget somebody who is very important, but they have been phenomenal to him. And so it started out small, and I think at this point we've printed about 1,200 shirts.
Wow.
And it's just, his pediatrician's office, and they wanted some, and the school has done a tremendous job getting them out there. But
wonderful.
And Brady sees them out there, and it just gives him a thrill.
I bet it does.
Yeah.
Something that probably gave him a really big thrill over the weekend. And we were talking earlier about his story kind of going national. I know Brady is a huge NASCAR fan, as well as I know he's a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan, a Tar Heel fan, which that's right up my alley too.
You know him pretty well.
Right. I've followed his story, and we've got a lot in common. And something very interesting happened over the weekend. Clint Boyer, driver of the number 15 5-Hour Energy Toyota with Michael Waltrip Racing, featured Brady on his car this past weekend. Yeah,
that was truly phenomenal. We had heard that he was going to have Brady's name above the passenger side door as co-driver of the car, which was just over the top. We were just thrilled to death. But then he also had a green ribbon, which signifies lymphoma, on the back of the car. And then we found out he was going to wear a hat that said Brady Bakken on it with that same green ribbon. And then, it just kind of snowballed. There were all kinds of interviews before the race on ESPN2 and on Speed Channel, and then during the race, and then after the victory lane speech, we all lost it at that point. Right. I mean, for Clint, who was his first victory with Michael Waltrip Racing, to take the time to think about this little boy.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure he had lots of other things going on in his head, but to take those few seconds meant the world to us and to Brady. So it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
We're so excited. He's still on cloud
Right,
nine.
I bet he is. Speaking of that clip, we've got a little clip of that interview segment we're going to roll right now. This is Clint Boyer in Victory Lane dedicating the race to young Brady.
Any 5-hour energy now, he's a little keyed up. Hey, tell me about everything that's going on here at MWR. Why is this team hitting it so strong all of a sudden?
Well, just working together. You know, that's something that we're very proud of. All these guys work together, the crew chiefs, the engineering staff, everybody at TRD. I mean, that's what it takes. All of our cars ran good today, and it's because everybody works together. I want to say hi to that 11-year-old Brady back home. 11 years old with stage 3 lymphoma. Hang in there, buddy. We're praying for you, and this one's for you. Thank you.
Who knew a guy from very flat, very straight Kansas could win on the twisting roads of the wine country in Sonoma?
And just an amazing story there, Brett, when you see that and when you think about all the events
I got the
from this
goosebumps,
past
man.
weekend. Yeah, it was amazing. And to think about Clint, you know, having that put on his car and getting the word out there, but let alone coming back and winning the race. That was the first time that he's won a road course race like that. And like you said, his first win with Michael Waltrip Racing. It had to be a big event for Clint as well as the Bakken family as well.
Yeah, we are NASCAR fans, but I have to admit, I mean, the whole family was screaming and yelling and, you know, cursing Kurt Busch a little bit because he was bumping Clint at the end there. But, you know, it was meant to be. And it was just phenomenal. And now, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to have a interview on NASCAR Now because the whole NASCAR, not only 5-Hour Energy and Michael Waltrip, but NASCAR seems to have jumped on this situation too. Right. So it's just we don't. I wish they could do that for every kid. You know, it's done so much for Brady to lift his spirits, to give him the strength to get through this.
Right.
So.
Well, NASCAR and athletes like that, they do a great job of helping get the word out and spreading support for young kids like Brady who go through stages like this, and it's a great thing that they do, and it's a great thing to get Brady's story out there, and I know that he'll be strong and continue to fight this as hard as he has been. And we're looking forward to a great recovery from Brady. I know he's hanging in there, and there's more things to come for the Bakken family as well. And is there a way that folks can continue to support? I know y'all have seen an overwhelming amount of support, fundraisers. You talked about how big the barbecue fundraiser was back in April down in Valley Crucis, and we were talking about that earlier off camera, and the number of people that come out and showed support for Brady and his classmates and other people around the high country as well. Is there a way that they can go online and show their support for Brady continually?
Well, just to add to that a little bit, I mean, it's been phenomenal. Towards the last couple months of school, we were, every week, the people there would send home an envelope with change in it, and here's little kids that are breaking their piggy bank, you know, for Brady, and it just, you know, it just melts our hearts. I mean, I can't really explain how important that's been, and not necessarily the money, but just the fact that they're thinking about Brady. But to answer your question, probably the most important thing is on the Caring Bridge site. It's www.caringbridge.org/visit/Brady Bakken. He's probably got 24,000 visits up till now. He's actually had 2 Pittsburgh Steelers sign the book, Santonio Holmes and the tight end, Mike Keith, I think. Anyway,
okay, yeah.
Anyway, it was phenomenal. But what happens is anyone who signed up for that will get an email when a new update comes out about Brady. And we try to do those every day. It's been hard depending on the situation and circumstances. But when they get an email, and Brady, I tell you, gets the same email. And so within about 30 minutes, he's reading to see who's writing comments, and he loves it. And it's just a way that we can communicate to all of our friends and loved ones that, you know, with the updated situation without having to make, you know, a lot of phone calls. So it works both ways. But Brady does read them. He loves them. So keep the messages coming.
Right, wonderful.
Much appreciated.
Yeah. Well, Brett, we appreciate you coming by the station today and taking the time
Sure.
out to talk to us.
Thanks for having me.
Brady's in our thoughts and prayers, as well as your family as well, and I know he'll continue to fight it just as strong as he has been and give the best to him for us, okay?
Well, I will, and he's just a little knucklehead, you know. He's still a little joker. He's got a sense of humor. He's had a rough week. You know, last Monday we almost lost him. He had had a blood transfusion and had an allergic reaction, and within about 30 seconds, they had 30 to 40 people in his room reviving him. To go from that on Monday to Sunday's race was quite a emotional roller coaster. But he's given, he's taken everything they've given him, and we're very optimistic that he's going to be fine.
Wonderful.
And it's due to this community and prayers and support, and which is greatly appreciated.
Yeah. That's wonderful. It's great to hear, and once again, we wish him the best, and are looking forward to them better days to come.
Good deal.
All righty.
All right.
And folks, once again, for more information on Brady and his story and to support him, if you want to sign that gas book that Brett was talking about, you can go to their website, www.caringbridge.org/visit/Brady Bakken. Once again, BradyBakken. That's how you spell his name there. You can get online and show support for young Brady as well. He takes a look at all the posts that he sees there, and it makes his day. And so once again, that's caringbridge.org/visit/Brady Bakken. And for more information, you can check that out on that website as well. And thank you for watching Channel 18 MTN, the only television station right here in the High Country.